Hey gang, God gave me a great thought this weekend at Faith Promise. It was in the middle of the message. Sometimes I do my best thinking while I'm teaching. We were talking about David and the God of the breakthroughs, and God revealed something, and I think it's really cool. It's the God gap. And it's the God gap that few of us who are people of faith choose to cross the chasm of the God gap. And the God gap is this, the time between when God reveals something to us and when we receive it. When he declares it, that it is his will, like he told David, I'm going to give the Philistines in your hand, and the time that he received the victory. God said he wants us to walk in freedom. God says he wants us to impact the world. The kingdom of violence, the kingdom suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. There's so many things. And God wants you and I to be spiritually active. But it seems to me that we have fallen into an era in America, in the American church anyway, of spiritual passivity. So God has revealed to us things like, it is for freedom that Christ set us free, or God gives us a great vision for a ministry or for our family, or something that God wants us to do. And yet, there is a lapse between the time there has been a declaration and the time that we see it, where we experience it. And so that's the faith gap. Let's call it the God gap. But because so many of us tend to lean toward the passive side of spirituality, we never cross that faith chasm. So God wants you to walk in victory. God wants you to be the head and not the tail. God wants you to walk in the abundant life that Jesus Christ bought for you and I on the cross. John 10:10. Came to give you life, and he gave it to you more abundantly. It is for freedom that Christ set us free. And on and on and on and on. You're seated with Christ in the heavenlies, blessed with all spiritual blessings. All these things that are the revealed, declared, expressed will of God. And yet when we look at how our lives are being lived out, we're missing where we believe God wants us. And so there is the God gap. I want to challenge you to begin to spread that chasm, the God gap, by faith. Because see, we don't want faith. We want it in the natural. We want to be able to see it. And God says, he tells us, you've got to see it before you can seize it. You've got to believe it before you can receive it. So let me ask you, what area of your life are you walking by faith? What are the God gaps of things that you know that God has revealed, either through his Spirit to you personally or through his Word to all of us, that you're missing today? What part of that chasm does God want you to span? Because those that walk in the flesh can't please God. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. And so God doesn't want us to walk in the flesh, but in the fullness of the Spirit and by faith. What areas do you need to spread out and reach the borders that God has already given you, but that the enemy has occupied? So I believe we've all got some rebellious real estate, some enemy-occupied territory, areas of our life that God says, this is my revealed will for you. I've declared it. When will you receive it? Let's put on our shield of faith. Let's grab our sword of the Spirit. And let's take the ground that God gave us. Aren't you tired of Satan the squatter trespassing on the property that God has already bought for you? Let's punt him. Let's kick him out. It's my prayer for you that you get to walk in great victory and freedom. Just a thought. What area do you need to span the chasm, the God gap? Love you. Think about it. See you later.